Welcome to the Daily Review. This is Razak, Senior Trading Strategist here at CMTrading. And today is July 31st, 2023, and today is Monday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, we're watching the U.S. markets bouncing back. But first, no major economic events scheduled for today. So as we look at the various markets, starting out with the Forex symbols, the Japanese yen weakens once again. And looking at the indices, both the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ both bounce back. Looking at commodities, gold gains and bounces while oil hitting $80 a barrel and trading higher. Looking at the stocks, Meta back on its highs after not even filling in that gap. And lastly, looking at cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin remains unchanged. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So we're going to start with the Euro USD, and you can see that we pretty much just jumped off of our lows of 109.40-ish level. We're about 110, almost a 50% bounce from our nosedive from 111.43-ish level, and that's where I would put it at. I would probably put a resistance at 110.40-ish level where we've seen that before. So it should be kind of interesting. We're consolidating pretty much at this area. Now, jumping into the Japanese yen, this is where it gets very interesting. We did have a monetary policy last week that came out. We did tank after that, and then we came right back. So the Japanese yen losing ground versus the dollar. Remember, if it's going higher, it's losing ground versus the dollar at 142. If it continues above this 142, we could see ourselves back at that 145-ish level. And then, you know, we still have an upside potential, okay, after that. I mean, remember, we hit even higher than that back last year, around this time, towards the end of August, where we hit 151 versus the dollar as well. So that's something to consider. Now, jumping into commodities, gold did get a bounce in 1955 after that nosedive last week as well, bouncing off of that 200-day moving average on a 4-hour chart. That's a pretty decent place to be. Now, we do look like we're consolidating. Crude oil continues to climb to $80 a barrel this time of the year. We do have resistance at 82-ish level. So this continues to show strength as it's pushing the envelope, especially since it's broken above its 200-day moving average. I'm jumping into the U.S. markets, starting out with the Dow Jones. Did gain back some of that real estate it lost towards the end of the week last week to 35,600-ish level. So we are seeing some strength back. Now looking at the NASDAQ as well, did bounce back to 15,800. We still have upside potential. And remember, we've got Apple coming out with its earning reports this week as well. So that's big news coming up. Now, looking at the high-tech stocks, okay, specifically, Meta makes it back. Facebook is back on its highs, 324, and making it a little bit higher even, and didn't fill the gap. This is really important, showing some tremendous strength. And this just doesn't stop going. It just keeps on. Every time we think it's going to, top out, it doesn't, and it goes up even higher. Now, we do have resistance at 381, and believe it or not, when it was trading at 2 something, I said it's going to go up to 380-ish level. It's going to challenge it, and sure enough, it's just continuously going and pushing higher. Now, looking at the other big tech, Apple continues to spare higher as well, as it does kind of challenge at 195-ish level on that top side. And looking at Microsoft after its news last week, kind of consolidating pretty much, bouncing off of its lows. Now, CISCO had a terrible week last week and had a gap down, but it is holding its gains here as it didn't break lower and just above its 30-day moving average. Lastly, looking at cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin pretty much unchanged at 29,400-ish level and consolidating in a new area. And we are getting into the height of the summer, so I don't expect so much volatility moving forward. This is Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day.